You're not to discuss yourselves any style with anyone else on any subject connected with the trial until your discharge is yours. You are not to discuss the proceedings. Conduct You are not to view the place where the offense was alluded. You are not to form or express any opinion on this case until you are not required to report to the court any communication or attempt to communicate with you on the case or any subject connected with the trial. To the trial. However, we will make the record available for review, reaching a decision in this ruling. The court has an opinion on the merits of the case. One you should disregard it is impossible.
Here that our friend you'll hear that she had weekends and that she was sick at times. That you'll hear stepdaughter of Heath Smylie. Hear that Corey's that he was violent and angry. You'll hear that in January got onto accounts and around the same time that you'll hear at some point in trouble she was cheating same time cutting on even after take you to we're here because on March the 19th, 2024, Carly rode to school that day. Ashley was a school teacher at to tell Miss Ashley Smylie that day. Ladies and gentlemen, after the incident with Carly that morning, you'll hear that he gets in touch with another friend, and he's like, hey, you got to keep her distracted so I can go tell Miss Smylie what's going on. Ladies and gentlemen, this friend cared about Carly. He was like, I gotta intervene. I gotta tell her. I'm afraid of what's happening. You'll hear from him that he did, in fact, tell Miss Smylie. That after 4th block that day, he goes and he tells Miss Smylie, hey, Carly has got these vapes. She's got this phone. Ladies and gentlemen, you'll hear then that Carly Gregg rides in the car home with her mother from school to their house. They leave school sometime after 3:30. They get home a little before 4. You'll hear that when they get inside the house, it's only their 2 dogs, Ashley Smylie and Carly Gregg. Immediately, Carly goes and lets the dogs out. You'll hear testimony that Ashley then goes into Carly's room. You'll hear that while Ashley is in her room, that Carly's still outside. At some point, Ashley finds what law enforcement believe to be the 4 boxes that contain vape pens. Testimony will be that we believe she carried them from Carly's room to her bedroom, went back to searching Carly's room. The evidence will show that almost immediately upon Carly coming inside the house, that she walks straight to her parents' bedroom, that she goes straight to her mom's side of the bed and removes a .357 Magnum from under the mattress. We believe the testimony will be that then she concealed that .357 Magnum behind her back. As she walked through the kitchen, she peeks her head around. We believe the testimony will show that she peeks her head around the kitchen to make sure that her mom hasn't come out of her bedroom. We believe the evidence will then show that she walked with that .357 Magnum behind her back, walked into her own bedroom, and then fired 3 shots into her mother, killing her. We believe the testimony will then be at that very moment after she shot and killed her mother, she then hides that gun back out of the camera, walks back into that kitchen, sits down on a stool with a gun behind her, picks up her mother's cell phone, puts her mom's passcode into the phone. We believe the testimony will be that then she texts her stepdad and says something to the effect of, when will you be home, honey? Testimony will be that then she waited for him to respond. I'll be a little bit longer. She sends him a thumbs up. Ladies and gentlemen, we believe the testimony will then be that after she puts the phone back down and walks out of sight with the camera, that between the next 45 minutes or so, that the defendant reaches out to or attempts to reach out to about 5 or 6 of her friends. Some were FaceTime, some were text messages. We believe the evidence will show that during this time, she was asking them all for help, trying to get them to come over to her house. She wouldn't tell them why. We believe that one of them's going to say he even offered to call 911, and she told him no. The evidence will also be that one of these friends did in fact come over to help Carly that day. She didn't know why, but she knew that her friend needed help, and she went to that home. We believe the evidence will show that when that friend arrived at Carly's house, that Carly walked to the front door, asked her, "Are you squeamish around dead bodies?" We believe the evidence will show that then she took that friend and showed her dead mother laying on the floor. We believe the evidence will show that after that, she says, I put 3 in my mom, and I got 3 more waiting for my stepdad when he gets home. We believe the evidence will show that then she tells this friend, hey, why don't you go wait outside in the backyard? My stepdad's about to be home. This friend will testify that she does go in the backyard, and she hears gunshots. And the next thing she sees is Carly coming out of the back door. We believe the testimony will be that she fell down coming out of the back door, gets up and tells her to run. And these 2 individuals, this friend and Carly, jump over the fence and run separate directions. You'll hear testimony that there was a 911 call. You'll hear a frantic Heath Smylie telling the dispatcher, oh my God, she's killed her mother. She hit me in the neck, it grazed me, she tried to kill me too, she's run off. You'll hear from law enforcement when they arrived on the scene that Carly Gregg had fled the scene. You'll hear from law enforcement that when they arrived on the scene, Ashley Smylie was very much dead in the floor in Carly's bedroom, and that they found that Heath Smylie had been shot and hit in the shoulder, through and through. You will hear from law enforcement that sometime after the day of the event, they learned that there was cameras involved, that this home had surveillance video. You'll learn that one of those videos was turned over by the living victim, Heath Smylie, and it shows Carly Gregg and her friend jumping over the fence. And then you'll learn that there was another camera in the house on March the 19th, 2024. That camera was in the kitchen, and that's the camera that Carly was hiding the gun out of sight of. And you'll hear that that camera was not in the kitchen when law enforcement got there, and it was not in the kitchen where it should have been when Heath Smylie got there. It wasn't until sometime later that that camera was discovered. Ladies and gentlemen, you will hear that Ashley Smiley's cause of death, gunshot wounds to the head. Ashley Smiley's manner of death, homicide. You will hear that Heath Smylie says, Carly Gregg is the one that shot at me. And on his 911 call, he said that she tried to kill him. You'll hear him say that he did not move that camera, the only other person living in the home. Ladies and gentlemen, you also hear from forensic scientists from the Mississippi Forensics Laboratory. You'll hear that both of Carly Gregg's hands tested positive for gunshot residue, both the right and the left. You'll hear that the .357 Magnum that was used to kill her mother and shoot her stepfather, they took swabs. They took a swab of the trigger, and they took a swab of the hammer. And you will hear that the DNA profile that matches those swabs belongs to Carly Gregg. Ladies and gentlemen, you will also hear that there were 2 projectiles removed from Carly Gregg's mother, Ashley Smylie. One in her brain, one in her neck. And that those projectiles were tested with ballistics, and that those projectiles matched the .357 Magnum that Heath Smylie took out of Carly Gregg's hand that day on March the 19th, 2024. And ladies and gentlemen, at the end of this trial, after you've heard the evidence, the state will stand before you, and we will ask that you find Carly Gregg guilty of murder, attempted murder, and tampering with physical evidence. Thank you, Your Honor.
Does the defense wish to make its opening now, or do you wish to defer?
Let's go ahead, Your Honor.
Opening statement by the defense.
Good afternoon. I know it's been a long morning for you all, so I'll try to do this as briefly as possible. This is not a whodunit case. We know who took action on March 19th to bring about the death of Ashley Smylie and the injuries to Heath Smylie. However, this is a why case. Why did it happen? Why did this exceptional child with no history of violence, who was loved by her friends, her teachers, her parents, who had a good home life, who loved her mother, why did she shoot her mom? Why did she shoot at her stepfather? The state would like you to believe the answer to those questions don't matter, but we know better than that. The answers to those questions is why we're here today, and it's what you're here to do. We believe the evidence will show that there were 3 victims on March 19th, Ashley Smylie, Heath Smylie, and Carly Smylie, and Carly Gregg, that they were all 3 victims. We believe the evidence will show that Carly had been suffering from a mental illness, that Carly was not aware on March 19th that she had a mental illness. We believe the evidence will show that Carly's parents, who lived with her, were not aware that Carly was suffering from a mental illness. We believe the evidence will show that Carly's close friends, who saw her at school every day, were not aware that Carly was suffering from a mental illness, because it's hard to look at a person and understand that they have a mental illness. It's hard to look at a person and know that they have a mental illness. That's why it's often referred to as the invisible disease. A person can exhibit symptoms of a mental illness without people necessarily knowing that they have one, or other people necessarily knowing that's what another person has. While the events on March 19th were tragic, the events on March 19th were not intentional. The evidence will show, and the testimony will show, that Carly Gregg loved her mother, that Carly Gregg and her mother had a loving, close relationship. Carly Gregg's mom loved her. In fact, her life revolved around Carly, as parents' lives often do revolve around their children. Carly very much wanted to please her mother. Carly was an exceptional student, made a 30 on the ACT when she was 13 years old. She was the apple of her mother and her stepfather's eye. And you will understand by the conclusion of this hearing why Carly's stepfather is still supporting her and standing behind her. Because he knows on March 19th, there were 3 victims: Ashley, Heath, and Carly. The state will ask you to take your good judgment, to take your common sense, and to put it in a bucket, to put the lid on the bucket, and to toss the bucket out of this courtroom. We implore you not to do that, to retain your common sense, to retain your good judgment, and to make sure that you are listening to the evidence as it's presented, because it doesn't matter how many witnesses the state puts on, their story is filled with inconsistencies because they're not telling the whole story. The evidence will not show that Carly was ever deemed dangerous by anyone. The evidence will not show that Carly ever had any desire to hurt her mother. The evidence will not show that Carly ever had any desire to hurt any person. The evidence will not show that Carly invited people over to her house to view her mom's body. What it will show is that on March 19th, a hysterical Carly called her closest friends, begging them for help, begging them to help her. The evidence will show that Carly did not recognize Heath Smylie when he got home that day. You'll hear that from him himself. The evidence will show that Carly was so terrified when Heath Smylie got home on March 19th that even after Carly left the house, Heath walked around the house with the handgun in his hand looking for an intruder because he was convinced by Carly, by how she appeared, by how she acted, by what she did that day, by the child he had known for years that he was seeing on that day, that she was terrified, something horrible would happen, and that there must have been someone else in that house to cause that kind of terror in Carly. What the evidence will not show is that Carly had a drug problem. What the evidence will not show is that Carly and her mother had any argument on March 19th. What the evidence will not show is that Carly had any desire to hurt her stepfather. What the evidence will not show is that Ashley Smylie was angry when she left school that day, or that Ashley Smylie was upset with Carly when she left school that day, or that after they got home on March 19th, Ashley and Carly engaged in an argument. The evidence will not show that Ashley Smylie found anything in Carly's bedroom that would have caused an argument. The evidence will not show that Carly intended to hurt anyone. The evidence will not show that Carly has not grieved her mother's loss. The evidence will not show that law enforcement did their due diligence in investigating this matter. The evidence will not show that Carly was abusing or misusing prescription medication. The evidence will not show that Carly had a secret life, but rather was just a teenager who had a life that her parents didn't know everything about. That's called having a teenager and being a parent. The evidence will not show that Carly had ever tried to harm another person, had ever had a desire to hurt another person. The evidence will not show that Carly is a monster, that Carly was a difficult child, a troubled child, or a deranged child. The evidence will not show that Carly Gregg does not deserve you to return a verdict of not guilty. Now, the evidence will show that Carly had a family history of mental illness. In fact, it was well documented. The evidence will show that Carly was concerned that something was wrong with her. She wrote journal entries about it. The evidence will show that Carly was afraid she had the same mental illness that her father had. The evidence will show that Carly's mother had worried for years about Carly having the same mental illness that her father had. The evidence will show that Carly was very emotionally tied into her mother's emotions and that Carly never wanted her mother to worry about her. The evidence will show that Carly was scared of how her mother would react to the knowledge that if Carly had the same mental illness that her father had. That doesn't sound like a child that doesn't love her mom. And that doesn't sound like a child who has any intention of hurting her mother. The state would like you to believe that it's normal for a child to go home from school one day with their mother, who they love, and shoot her, but nothing's wrong. It was just marijuana. Or because she was on social media and her mom didn't want her on social media. But again, we ask you to retain your common sense and to retain your good judgment, because we know that just doesn't make sense. And at the end of this trial, if the state's case still leaves you feeling like their version of events just doesn't make sense, then you must return a verdict of not guilty.
State may call its first witness. Adjust yourself up to the microphone.
Yes.
Do you understand that you're now under oath and your answers to be sworn answers under penalty of perjury?
Yes.
All right.
May I proceed, Your Honor?
Yes.
All right. Good afternoon, sir. Would you please introduce yourself to the jury?
My name is Kevin Collins.
And Mr. Collins, where do you work?
I work Rankin County Sheriff's Department dispatch.
All right. You said dispatch. Explain to us just a little bit about what dispatch is and what you do as part of your job responsibilities.
Basically, we take all the incoming calls from the county and the community, even some from the cities for emergency situations, and we dispatch proper personnel, whether it be medical, fire, law enforcement.
And how long have you worked for Rankin County Sheriff's Office in that role?
I started in Sheriff's Department February 7th, 2022.
Okay. And before February of 2022, did you have any experience working in that role in any other for any other departments or agencies?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Can you tell the ladies and gentlemen about that?
I started with Hinds County Sheriff's Department in June of 2007. I worked 2 years at the city of Flowood, and then I worked Yazoo County E911, a couple years at Mendenhall Police Department, and then the last 6 years before I came to Rankin County, I was a supervisor at the city of Florence.
And you talked about some of your job duties and responsibilities. As part of your responsibilities and duties, do you dispatch fire services?
Yes, we do fire services.
Do you dispatch police?
Yes,
EMTs?
that is done through Pafford.
Okay. Who contacts Pafford in the event that EMTs are needed?
We transfer the caller. In the perfect situation, we transfer the caller to Pafford so they can ask the proper questions.
Okay. And I understand that over the years, maybe some of the training requirements have changed, but whenever you became a dispatcher, what were the training requirements in order to become a dispatcher?
Within the first year, you had to go through a 40-hour basic certification class plus a 8-hour ride-along with each department that you dispatch, whether it be fire, law enforcement, medical. In every continuous year, you have to do 48 hours in 6 different subjects for every 3 years
Okay.
to recertify.
So did you do those initial requirements back whenever you started?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Did you ride along with those different agencies that you dispatched?
Yes, I did.
All right. And have you kept up your continuing education hours throughout the years?
Yes, sir, I have.
And who are you certified through? Who keeps up with that?
Board of Standards and Training through the state of Mississippi.
Okay. And you said you've worked at Rankin County since February of 2022, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you guys work in shifts, or how does your schedule work?
We do. My shift is 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and we do a 3-2 split, which is like 1 week we'll work Monday, Tuesday, and then the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then the next week we will work Wednesday and Thursday, and it just alternates the following weeks.
Okay. How many dispatchers work at a time for Rankin County?
There's 4 of us at a time on duty.
And how do you guys handle calls that come in to, say, 911?
If it's an emergency situation, then, you know, we've got this thing where we'll snap our fingers and somebody else will pick up on the call. That way one of us can get all the information we can while the other one's dispatching it out.
So is it possible that more than one person can be listening to the call at the same time?
Yes.
Okay. And I want to take you back to March 19th of this year, March 19th, 2024. Were you employed as a dispatcher with Rankin County at that time?
Yes, I was.
And that was as a dispatcher?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Were you working that day?
Yes, I was.
Do you recall receiving a call from an individual by the name of Mr. Heath Smylie that day?
Yes, I do.
And what was the reason for Mr. Smylie calling 911?
He called because he had been shot. At first, he said he had grazed the neck. Once during the middle of the call, he then stated that his wife was also shot dead on the floor, and I continued to talk to him until deputies arrived on scene.
And do you recall the address that Mr. Smylie was calling from?
Yes, it was 214 Ashton's Way.
Okay. Is that address located in Rankin County?
Yes, it is.
Okay. How, Mr. Collins, how would you describe Mr. Smylie's demeanor whenever you first picked up the phone that day?
He was very distraught. At first, I thought I was speaking with a female. It wasn't until I found out his name that I knew it was a male, and then I just continued to get further information from him, what I could. He couldn't even, when I asked him the address the first time, he couldn't even tell me the address. I went off of the 911, which gave us, I believe, 215 Ashton Way, and then later on during the call, I verified with him what his address was.
Okay. And you mentioned that Mr. Smylie stated that he was grazed and that his wife was dead. Did he tell you anything else?
He also advised that his stepdaughter had shot him and that he had taken the gun from her and she ran out the back door wearing, I believe, a gray shirt and jeans and went over the back fence. I got a description from him that we could pass along to our officers, and that's about most of it, except he did also advise that she had been going through some things and was on medication trying to deal with some stuff.
Okay. When someone calls 911, are those calls recorded?
Yes, they are.
And do you know whether or not those calls are kept in the normal course of business by the Rankin County Sheriff's Office?
Yes, they are.
Okay. Do you know whether your call with Mr. Smylie on March 19, 2024 was recorded?
Yes, it was.
And do you know whether or not that call was kept in the normal course and scope of business by the Rankin County Sheriff's Office?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Have you listened to that call before?
Yes, I have.
May I approach, Your Honor? Mr. Collins, I handed you an item. Do you recognize that?
Yes, sir. It's a disc of the recording
And how do you know that's what that is?
because I initialed and dated it.
Okay. Have you watched or listened to that call before?
Yes, I have.
And you said there are some initials on there. Are those your initials?
Yes, sir, they are.
Whenever you listened to that call, did it appear to be altered or edited in any way?
No, it did not.
Okay. Your Honor, at this point, we would move this disc in as State's Exhibit 1.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
Be admitted as one, all purposes. Yes, sir.
And Mr. Collins, you mentioned that you listened to this. Is this a complete call recording of the call with Mr. Smylie that day?
Yes, it is from beginning to end.
Okay. Your Honor, may I publish this for the jury, please?
Yes, sir.
What's the location of your emergency? What's that? Your daughter tried to shoot you? Where did she at? How old is she? 14? Okay, ma'am, stay on the phone. Ma'am, stay on the phone with me. Just calm down. What's your name? Smylie. Okay, calm down for me. Give me your name again. Smylie. Heath Smylie? Yes, sir. All right, mister, what's your phone number you calling me from? Did she hit you? Yeah, I got hit in the neck a little bit. Okay, so did graze your neck? Yes, sir. All right, and what's her name? Gregg. Carly Gregg? Does she still have a gun on her? I took it from her. She ran. You took it from her and she ran? Yes, sir. She was screaming something at me. I couldn't understand. I locked the door. She's outside. I don't know what's going on. Which way did she run off to? She ran into the backyard. They went over a fence. Ran into the backyard and went over your fence? Yeah. What is she wearing?
T-shirt, gray shirt and jeans.
Gray shirt and jeans? About how tall is she?
5'2".
About 5'2"? What color hair?
Brownish, brownish, just short hair.
5'2", but
Back door, she opened fire on me and was just screaming.
Okay, just calm down for me. We got everybody in. She what?
She killed her mom!
She killed her mom?
Yeah, that's what I'm screaming about!
Where's the mom?
Mom, when I do this, she doesn't kill me!
Where's the mom at? Sir. Sir.
God, why?
Sir. Okay, your address is 215, correct?
214.
214. His address is 214. Okay, sir. Where's your wife?
She's dead on the floor in my stepdaughter's room.
She's on the floor in your stepdaughter's room? What's your wife's name?
Ashley Smylie.
Ashley Smylie? Was there any problems? Sir, I need you to speak with me, okay? Can you go outside the house and speak to me?
Okay.
Okay. Now, was there any problems going on with is it your stepdaughter or?
She's my stepdaughter. And her mom. I don't know what's going on. The stepdaughter's been in therapy for a little while, trying to work out some problems in the home and not disrupted.
Okay, and you say your wife has been shot? They're there? Okay, sir, I'm gonna let you speak with them, okay? Okay. Speak with them, okay?
No further questions, Your Honor.
Does the defense wish to use the projector for cross-examination?
The defense has no cross-examination.
All right, you may step down, sir. Are you going to use that with your next witness? Yes, sir. Before we go to the next witness, any jurors need a restroom break? All right, state may call its next witness.
All right, and where do you work?
Rankin County Sheriff's Office.
All right, and what role do you work at the sheriff's office?
Patrol.
All right, and as a patrol deputy at Rankin County, what do you do on a daily basis?
I answer 911 calls and assist the public when they call for assistance.
Okay. How long have you been in law enforcement?
9 years.
Okay. Have you worked anywhere other than Rankin County, or have you been at Rankin County all 9 years?
Yes, I've worked other places.
Okay. Where else have you worked?
I worked at Hines County, Flowood.
Okay. And where did you start? Did you start at Hines County?
Yes.
Okay. What kind of training did you go through in order to become a certified police officer?
Went to Mississippi Law Enforcement Officer Training Academy.
Okay. And approximately how long was that training?
12 weeks.
All right. As a patrol deputy now at Rankin County, do you complete any kind of ongoing training or continuing education?
I do.
And tell us just a little bit about what kind of training you go through.
We have to do annual training yearly throughout the year.
Okay. And what kind of topics does that annual training cover?
Just different aspects of the job.
Okay. Is it related to patrol, or is it investigations? Tell us just a little bit about it.
Patrol.
Okay. Now, I want to take you back to March of this year, specifically March 19th, 2024. Were you employed as a patrol deputy at Rankin County on March 19th, 2024?
Yes, sir, I was.
All right. Do you recall receiving a call for service at 214 Ashton Way?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay. Is that in a subdivision, or where is that?
It is.
What subdivision is that?
Some Farmington Station, Norfolk.
Okay. Is that in Rankin County?
Yes, sir, it is.
All right. Did you respond to 214 Ashton Way?
Yes, sir, I did.
Whenever you arrived at 214 Ashton Way on March 19, 2024, were there any other law enforcement personnel there whenever you arrived?
No, sir.
So were you the first one there?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Whenever you arrived on scene that day on March 19th at 214 Ashton Way, just tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what you observed whenever you got there.
When I arrived, the door was locked, but I could hear somebody screaming and highly upset on the inside of the house.
Okay. Did you later find out who was inside the house?
Yes, sir, I did.
Who was that?
He's Smylie.
At any point, did Mr. Smylie come outside, or tell us what happened next?
Yes, I knocked on the door several times, announced who it was, and then he opened the door.
Can you describe Mr. Smylie's demeanor that you personally observed?
He was hysterical, highly upset, crying.
Okay. Whenever he came out, tell us what happened next.
He fell to the ground on the porch just outside the front door once, and then I asked him where his wife was. He said that she was inside on the floor.
What information, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Deputy Lewis, what information, if any, had you been provided by dispatch?
Just advised that been 2 people shot inside the residence.
Okay, so you stated that Mr. Smylie came outside, and you spoke to him briefly. Then what happened next?
After I spoke to him, I went inside to check on the other party, and she was deceased inside the bedroom.
Okay, and then did you do anything to Miss Smylie whenever you encountered her inside?
I did. I initially checked for a pulse, and I couldn't feel the pulse, so I lifted the towel to see what kind of see what had happened, and that's when I noticed she had been shot in the face.
Okay, you mentioned a towel. Tell us, we haven't heard that before, so tell us, what are you talking about? You lifted the towel.
Whenever I entered into the bedroom, she was laying flat on her back with her arms crossed with a towel over her face.
How were her arms crossed, if you recall?
Across the top of her chest.
Okay. And did you later confirm the identity of the female inside?
I did.
And who was that?
Ashley Smylie.
Okay. After checking Miss Smiley's pulse, what did you do then?
Then went back outside. Radio dispatch, and asked them to have medical come on in, and went back outside to where Mr. Smylie was.
Okay. Whenever you got back outside, were there any other law enforcement officers there at that time?
There was one close.
Okay. And who was that?
Deputy Dustin Smith.
Okay. And once you returned back outside and encountered Mr. Smylie again on the front porch, what happened after that?
He told me who had shot him and what she was. Then gave me a description of what she was wearing.
And who did he tell you shot him?
His stepdaughter,
And what type of, did he identify her name?
Gregg.
Okay. And what did he tell you she was wearing?
She was wearing. I can't recall exactly what he is.
Okay. And then after that, what did you do next with that information?
Radioed to the units that was responding.
Okay. Did Mr. Smylie ever say anything about a gun or anything like that?
He did.
Okay. Tell us about that.
He advised that the gun that was used was laying on the counter and there was one live round in the cylinder.
Did he say what type of gun it was?
357.
Okay. And then what did you do after that, if anything?
I let the other officers know about the weapon, and then had the crime scene taped up.
Okay. And so how long did you stay out there that day?
Until the coroner's office took possession of Miss Smylie.
Okay. And after, at some point, did investigators get there? What happened with that?
When they arrived on the scene, they started taking photographs and processing the scene.
Okay. Now, Deputy Lewis, as a patrol deputy with Rankin County, do you wear a body-worn camera?
Yes, sir, I do.
And tell us, when do you activate your camera?
Anytime dealing with the public.
Okay. On March 19th, 2024, whenever you responded to 214 Ashton Way, were you wearing body-worn camera that day?
Yes, sir, I was.
And did your body-worn camera, in fact, did it record what happened whenever you arrived there on the scene?
Yes, sir, it did.
Do you know whether that body-worn camera footage is kept by the Rankin County Sheriff's Office?
Yes, sir, it is.
Since March 19th, 2024, have you reviewed that footage?
Yes, sir, I have.
Okay. Approach, Sean. Deputy Lewis, I handed you an object on. Do you recognize that?
Yes, sir, I do.
And what is that?
It's a copy of my body cam footage
How do you know that's what that is?
because I initialed it after I watched it.
Okay, so you watched that and initial it.
Yes, sir, I did.
All right. That the footage that you watched on there, is that a true and accurate depiction of what your body cam recorded on March 19th, 2024 at 214 Ashton Way?
Yes, sir, it is.
Had that video been edited or altered in any way?
No, sir.
All right. Your Honor, at this time we would move this in as State's Exhibit 2.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
Be admitted without objection, S2.
Your Honor, I would ask for permission to pose this to the jury.
Yeah, go back inside. Sheriff's office! Sheriff's office! Hey, come outside for Hey, come here. Hey, where's your wife at, bud? Where's your wife at?
She's dead on the floor in that room.
She's where? Sheriff's office! Hello? That's right. I need medical here. Man, I need you to get up. Hey, where's your son wearing? Hey, can you tell me what your son's wearing? Hey, I need you to talk to me. What is your son wearing?
She was in jeans and a grayish t-shirt. She's got short brownish hair.
So, jeans, a gray t-shirt, short brown hair.
She ran into the backyard. I tried to follow her. She jumped the fence and ran. She shot me in the neck. It's okay. I think
Does she still have the gun?
it's on the kitchen counter. I think there's one light round left in it. I opened the cylinder. I went in the back door. She tried to shoot me.
Hey, I need some gloves. Hey, he's saying that she ran towards Magnolia Place. Are you sure? He's grazed, but he's considered. It wasn't his shirt.
You got me right there.
Magnolia Place, they gave the subdivision.
She ran over the side back towards my vehicle. She might have looked around this way.
Might look back, going back towards the pond right there. Hey, she does not have the firearm. The firearm is here at the house. Hey, he's been grazed, but he's considered. She's laying on the floor with a towel. right now, so. Will you take that tape right there and just go to those trees, from my car to those trees? Actually, go for the mailbox. It's a 357. She's 7? 14, like a third age. Does she have any kind of, what's her name? What? Carly Gregg. Carly Gregg? How old is she? 14. She'll be 15 next month. Okay. And it doesn't work, she's got me one close the door. She jumped the fence and said it. She didn't go out the back door. Does he go? No, we got one. She's not. Okay. The back door is locked. She did not go out the back door. Therefore, that's what he's claiming. Gray shirt, blue jeans, short brown hair. Hey, y'all do be advised, there's several firearms in the house. But the one that he's saying was used is laying on the table, but that doesn't mean she's not on it. We don't know if she's gone. All right, look at it. You going? Yeah, I got it. 1917. Yeah, that's fine. Hold this up. Just sort of see. Roll over, almost hit. There was a white man walking in whenever I was coming in. She's 14. Hey, buddy, listen to me, okay? I need to get some information from you. What is her name again?
Carly, C-A-R-L-Y.
C-A-R-L-Y?
Carly Madison Gregg, G-R-E-G-G.
G-R-E-G-D?
She's my stepdaughter.
All right.
Her dad lives in Starkville, and we're having all kind of problems with him. He's
Okay.
drugs and
All right. What is your name, sir?
Smylie.
He's Smylie?
D.
Okay.
She's getting back for that. Hey.
What's your wife's number? Name?
Ashley Smylie.
All right.
Have you called her? Have you called her? Call her. Your wife.
I just called her number twice and I was standing there looking for her and then I said,
Hey, how old is Ashley? How's your wife?
40.
40? Hey, I need your
find it. Ashley Smylie. Ashley Smylie, 40 years of age. White female. Also, I got 27 for the other victims. 801-151-492. Madison Gregg. Carly Madison Gregg. Gregg.
Yes, sir, the top three. Top right.
Y'all just roll with him right now. Or I can't get a picture.
Well, what I was going to say is if you need to get anything with him, you do it.
Yeah.
And,
we will have somebody come to the hospital. I'm sure. So,
yeah, so I'm just, follow me.
Versus wife is in there. His wife. That's her. That's why he kept asking me. That's your wife. He kept asking me, did you call his wife? And I was trying to.
Okay, all right.
This is their stepdaughter.
Yes.
Go ahead and do what you got to admit you. So he's gonna, I'm getting information, but it's a through the shoulder. As of right now, this is him. She's Ashley Smylie, she's 40 years old, and then the one we're looking for is Carly Madison Gregg. She's 14. They've been having issues with her in the past, so this is a stepdaughter. But if it's, hey, we need anything else from him, if it's roll him, I said we'll probably send somebody up there with him.
Yeah. You're going to use it on Magus?
Wait, let's go.
Yeah, I'm saying. Get a paper, you know. I'm sorry about that.
No, you're fine. That's why I was trying to just like.
So you got one to six.
What? It's all little girls' money. There's several guns in the house. I need a crime scene dog.
If I leave, who's going to take care of my dogs?
So we'll take care of that, okay?
You can put them in the kennel.
We'll take care of that, okay? Y'all can take a picture of that so y'all have y'all's information?
I'm just going to get all this information from him. I don't need that.
Okay, all right. I got Reverend going to start this for me, okay?
What's his name?
Burnell. Tyler Burnell.
Okay. I thought I recognized him. He's ex-Pearl.
Yeah, Pearl and Flowood, all of them. They've been everywhere.
Uh-huh.
That be better?
Works for me, it's gonna be, we use it up pretty quick.
No, I can get it from Burnell. Yeah, hey, turn around. Hey, y'all turn around real quick. He's trying to take a picture. You don't want to.
Thank you for calling everybody today, and we need your shoulder. If you want to call on those days over there. I'll call over there.
I don't think 20 has one either right now. Oh, that's right.
idea. He said they've been having issues. I couldn't really get nothing out of it. I didn't really get much from him because he told, you know, all he told me is she took, huh? Yeah, all he kept telling me was she ran out the back door, the back door's dead.
What's the easiest way?
He probably kind of in the heat of things trying to keep from coming back.
And he said the wife's name was Ashley?
Ashley, yeah. And it's
Ashley Smylie.
Ashley Smylie. Where's mom? I'm just seen this back bedroom.
Yeah.
Hey, Tyler, the gun that's used is right there on the counter in the kitchen? No.
Nobody?
No.
And they got sister alive?
Yeah.
My dad's kid, huh?
Dad saw him, she's in here.
I don't do the juvenile on the other side waiting for her. What? Oh, that's low. You guys got his ass picked up? Yeah, I got him. Oh, sweet. Figure out where the fuck he's going.
Now
This is not the case.
there's a bunch of gun cases and stuff laying right there. That closet's slim full of guns. So we know she may still have access to them. She's in there.
I'm not going to do anything about it.
I mean, I couldn't get nothing in the front door. It's through and through. He was explaining something to me about the father, because he's dead there too. Yeah. He said that they're having issues with that. When you tell him me and Dustin's already cleared the house. Me and Dustin's already cleared the house. Me and Dustin cleared the house.
I'm talking every closet, under the beds, everything. You don't have to go all the time to them spots.
But Dad, he said she ran out the back door.
I know. But Dad, you never know. Look, I want to go to the house and I want to very politely. I want to look over beds, I want to look in closets, behind clothes. Let's make sure she's not in this house before we exhaust a whole lot out of it. You know how juvenile are.
Me and Dustin walked through and cleared the house, but I mean,
Did you look over beds?
we didn't go that far. We looked in closets and stuff like that.
Yeah, I quickly cleared it, but I didn't. Yeah, let's
Clear. Hey.
That's mom. Yeah. No, mom and dad both got it.
Mom and Dad both what?
Got hit.
Okay. And Dad's?
Dad's got it through and through in the shoulder. He's already in the ambulance.
Was it the 14-year-old?
Yeah, the 14-year-old. No.
I found out on the way you guys.
Yeah. I thought they said it's 40 years old. Did y'all not hear Gregg?
Yeah, I heard Gregg.
All the line. Right. Who pulled up? Yeah. She texted.
No.
Where was the other guy?
Who was that? The one that I was just talking to? Yeah. Nancy?
Max. Okay.
Yeah.
That's it for now. Facebook. The best. Facebook is great.
What do you want, Nancy? She's 14, so she's not gonna have anything. But there's some screens. There's some screens in here. You see, this thing right here is doing some pictures. But he said her hair is short now.
They got it. Oh. They got me.
I made two.
Look at that. Deputy Lewis, I heard a call out there. They said that they got her. It's 17:35. Is that 5:35 p.m.?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay. And what did you know about whether or not anybody was taken into custody at that time?
I'm sorry, say that again?
What did they mean whenever they said that they took her into custody at 17:35?
They took her into custody at 5:35.
And do you know who that was that they were talking about?
Yes, sir, it was one of our interdiction units.
Okay. And who did they take into custody?
Carly Gregg.
Okay. And I think the video goes on a little bit longer, but I think your testimony was earlier that you stayed out there until the coroner showed up. Is that correct?
That is.
And what type of things were you doing until the coroner showed up?
Just help processing the scene and.
Okay. Court's indulgence. Two more brief questions, Deputy Lewis. I heard you use two, I guess in the police world, what they call 10 codes on there. And I think you said one was 10-2 and one was 10-7. Can you explain to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what that means?
10-2 means okay and 10-7 means deceased.
Okay. And who were you referring to as 10-2 in the video?
He's Smylie.
And who was 10-7?
The mother, Ashley Smylie.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Cross-examination. Do you intend to use the video?
No, Your Honor.
All right, if you, Mr. Livingston, if you would, he's not going to use that. Would you move that out of the way, please? Sir. You don't have to unplug it necessarily. Okay. Okay. One moment. Cross-examination.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now, Hunter, you were the first person on the scene, is that correct?
Yes, sir, that is.
And I guess you had to knock on the door a few times in order to get Heath to come to the door, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And I think when you answer, or I guess when he comes to the door, you see him and he's talking on a cell phone, correct?
Yes, sir, that is.
And at that time, he's actually talking to the 911 dispatcher, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then, did you have him go out? I wasn't 100% sure when I was looking at the video. Did you have him come out, or did he come out and sit down?
Well, I asked him to come out.
Okay. And so when he comes out, you notice he's been injured at that point. Or did you, I think you asked him if he was injured, or you were able to ascertain that he was injured, right?
Yes, sir.
And then you had him sit down, is that correct?
Correct.
And you did that because you're looking out for his safety, and if somebody's been injured, you don't want them walking around and possibly fainting and doing things like that, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So you were having him or sit down, try to calm down, because at this point you're trying to get some information from him about what happened, correct?
Yes, sir.
And I noticed you ask him what happened. He's telling you that I guess somebody had shot him. Is that correct?
Say that again, sir.
You were asking what happened, and he said somebody had shot him. Is that correct?
I don't recall that, sir.
Okay. He didn't tell you somebody had shot him? Didn't you ask him what happened, and he said that his stepdaughter had shot him?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I think it took you a couple times because you had asked, what does your son look like? And it took you you had to think to realize that it's actually a stepdaughter, not a stepson. Would that be correct?
Yes, sir.
And this is all on video, correct? I mean, we just saw the video. This is all on video.
Yes, sir.
That's what we would call a body cam, right?
Correct.
Okay. And you have certain policy and procedures with the body cam, correct?
Yes, sir.
And I think you had said when you first got up on the stand, you were asked about why you wear a body cam or what it is, and you said any time that you have interaction with the public.
Yes, sir.
And it's for your safety, and it's also for the safety of the I guess the public, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you have certain policies that say as long as you're out there, you can't turn that body cam off, correct?
Yes, sir.
And that's a Rankin County Sheriff Department policy, right?
Yes, sir.
And that's that's, I guess, if you're wearing a body cam, you are, I guess, and you're with the sheriff's department, everybody follows the same procedures.
Yes, sir.
May I beg the court's indulgence? No further questions.
Where you at? Deputy Lewis, Mr. Campbell's just asking about body cams. Do you know whether investigators, in your personal knowledge, do you know whether investigators with the Rankin County Sheriff's Office wear body cams?
I don't know that, sir.
Okay. And the gentleman who showed up out there with the white shirt on, who was that?
Investigator Burnell.
Okay. Court's indulgence. Nothing further.
May this witness be excused by the state?
Yes.
By the defense?
Yes, sir.
All right, you can stand down. I'll approach real quick. I'm going to ask y'all to be back in the jury room at 8:45 tomorrow, ready to go at 8:45. Everyone remain seated while the jury exits. Mr. Bailey, take charge of the jury. All right, I'm going to ask the jury to be back at 8:45 tomorrow. I'm going to ask the attorneys for both sides to be here at 8:30, ready to go. All right, along with your witnesses. We're moving along at a pretty fair clip, so if the defense has any witnesses, they may want to have them ready after lunch tomorrow. All right? Anything further from the state?
No, sir.
Anything further from the defense?
Your Honor, I apologize. I do have one other thing, just to make sure that the witnesses, the people that have been in the courtroom know that they're not allowed to discuss the testimony with potential other witnesses.
There should be no discussion about testimony with witnesses from either side. All right, anything further from the state?
No, sir.
From the defense?
No, Your Honor.
All right, we'll stand in recess till 8:30 tomorrow morning.